There's just something about a good leather holster for your firearm, especially something that you really have on your body all day long. The feel, the smell, even the sound of leather. Of course, I grew up with leather, so that makes a big difference. I mean, this, when I have a leather holster, I really feel like that my set is complete. Now, in a world of polymer frame pistols, you know, Kydex has kind of taken over. A good quality leather holster can be somewhat expensive, but the craftsmanship that goes into good leather is unsurpassed. And so when John Jackson from Jackson Leatherworks got in touch with me, it was kind of a surprise because John has followed my channel for a number of years. In fact, I know his channel because he has a picture of Stonewall Jackson as his avatar. And so I didn't have any idea that he made leather holsters. And so just recently he contacted me and he said, hey, look, would you be interested in checking out one of my leather custom holsters? And so we got together, and my concealed carry preference is the Glock 26. And of course, this one is unloaded. I do also carry the Glock 27. And so that was my choice for the leather. I love brown leather. He does make it in the black. But once I got this holster in fact, when I opened the package, the quality of this just was incredible. I mean, it really popped out. The stitching, heavy stitching, the reinforced upper here with the shirt guard. This gives you the retention you need, which a lot of people go with Kydex because of the retention. And some leather holsters can be flimsy, and you need to be careful to pick the correct leather for what you're doing. I've been wearing this holster for about 2 months, and I like to really take things and check them out before I do a review, because you guys, I take it real seriously. Not only is my reputation on the line, but you guys are buying products on my recommendation. So it's very important that I really look at things full spectrum. And as I was wearing this holster and I was doing a little research, I thought for a minute that I didn't have my firearm on me. And it's because this holster is just so comfortable to wear, and it is an inside the waistband holster, and so that in itself means a lot as far as your daily comfort. If you're going to carry a firearm on an everyday basis, which I do, having a right system is vital. And so we're going to take a look at John's holster. This is the inside the waistband. But then he got in touch with me a couple of weeks ago and said, let me make you a nice magazine pouch, and I'm going to have something for your knife. And so this is a beautiful set, because EDC, again, can be, it's something you have on your body all the time. Now, attention to detail is really important, especially for a custom leather holster like this. And one of the things you're going to notice right off the bat is how soft it is. And that's because it is hand oiled. Of course, it's dyed as well, and John does all that in-house. Now, most of your production holsters are water molded, and that means they're blasted with water to form to the pistol. And with this, it's going to have more of a softer effect. It's not going to have the rigid, hard effect that you get with those water molded holsters. Also, these are hand stitched, and any stress points have been double stitched. The leather has been beveled, so it's going to add to comfort. And of course, all the edges are burnished just to make it really nice. In fact, this really reminds me of an old baseball or softball glove. It just has that really nice feel to it. And one of the things that John says is adding comfort to your carry. So this will really give you a lot of comfort. And as I've said before, wearing this, you forget that you even have it on. Of course, metal clip, brass fittings. This area up here is really important to retain your retention. And of course, you have a shirt guard. Now, this is just this particular holster. He makes different type holsters. In fact, again, everything he does is made to order. He doesn't keep an inventory. If he does have a holster that maybe it's something that he misinterpreted or something they have there on the website that he has an extra, he will sell those, but they do not typically carry an inventory. Here with the mag pouch, same thing, has a nice clip, brass fittings. The stitching is exceptional. The leather is just really high quality. And of course, you're going to need to work it just a little bit when you first get it. But really, I've worked this very little, and it's already starting to fit. It retains its retention, but yet it makes it easy to pull out. The interior of the leather is really important. I have had holsters before in the past that were leather that had kind of a rough finish here. With unfinished leather, it can scratch your firearm. This is a suede feel to it. I mean, it's very well tanned, and it's not as smooth and as oiled, but it is very nice when you slide your gun into the holster. It's going to have a little bit of tightness, but you're going to need that for your retention. But once the gun is placed in there, it molds to the firearm. You can get a full grip on the pistol, your firing grip, so you're ready to fire. And you know, well, again, this is this particular holster. You know, he does outside the waistband. He does pocket holsters, wallets, hybrid holsters, chest rigs, just all kind of different knife sheaths. And obviously here we have a knife sheath. This was for my Spyderco Mannix. Now, in this holster system, you're going to need a small lanyard to be able to pull this out. And of course, on your belt loop, the retention, it's going to be easier to draw this out. With me holding it by hand, there's nothing really to grab hold of. That's not really indicative of how this thing will remove from the holster system. I've got it to where I can pull it right out, and when I grab it, it's ready to go. So this is just a great way to get it out of your pocket, get the clip out, and of course, you know, I could remove this clip if I wanted to, which I probably will, leaving it in this holster, but it still fits and retains anyway. Now the color options are the brown, and obviously he does black. If you'll notice, there is a slight color difference between the accessories here and your holster. That's because his leathers, when he gets them, he does them by hand, and I got the holster obviously a couple of months before I got these pieces, which these pieces match exceptionally well. But as far as the set overall, it just really looks good. You know, you could even put a small flashlight or different things like that in these holsters. Now on the 26, you can see that it comes down and it has a little bit of give right here, which is really nice. But I can also take my Glock 23, which is a little larger, place it into the holster, and it comes right to the end. So I've got really a 2-for-1. I can use my compact size or the subcompact Glock. And of course, again, that's according to what you order, what pistol that you want to place into your holster system. Now the outside the waistband holster runs $80 and then $40 respectively for the knife sheath and the mag pouch. And some may think that's kind of expensive, but with something like this that'll last a lifetime, that's pennies a day for really high quality items. And if you're carrying it every day, it's worth its weight in gold. Now there are exotic leathers that can be ordered as well for your custom. A lot of different alligator, ostrich, different type leathers that are beautiful, have a lot of texturing to them. And you can go to the Jackson Leather website and see all of his different offerings. There is a portfolio there with a lot of different things. Now again, you're not going to find prices on the website. And so what you'll need to do when you can get a quote and you go on there and choose what you want, and then he'll give you a quote for the work that you're doing. I'll tell you right now, these are very reasonable in any light, much less a custom leather holster. You're not going to pay much more for this nice leather than you will a nice Kydex holster. So, and I think with the quality and the feel of the leather, I think you're really getting a lot more bang for your buck. Now, any custom product, whether it's leather, Kydex, or anything, takes time. And the lead times on these are between 2 to 8 weeks, according to what you order. If it's something more complicated, it's going to take a little longer. Something more simple, of course, will take a lot shorter times. But anything that is of high quality is of demand. And really, high quality is, you know, buy quality once, buy cheap twice. Of course, he stamps his maker's marks into every piece that he does. And this is custom made by John Jackson, Soli Deo Gloria, which means glory to God alone. Making a good investment into your EDC, having the holster system that you want, being able to carry your EDC items with comfort and yet with quality and style, I don't think you're going to beat Jackson Leatherworks. This is just incredible leather. John Jackson, you're doing a great job. Jackson Leatherworks, thumbs way up. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America. Long live the Republic. going to have a little tightness, but then it's going to have a little bit of tightness. Okay. Well, it's going to have a little bit of tightness, but you're going to need that for your retention. And here are the maker's marks, Jackson Leather, and here are his maker's marks. This right here is just a testimony saying, you know what, I'm going to do a great job.